And it's perfect you mentioned what he does for the culture in Miami because I wanted to go over to that. Obviously, what was happening in Houston, that was kind of like the beginning of this, not beginning, but it was really a major stepping stone in the analytics revolution. How far along were you guys in your own analytics revolution in Miami by the time he got there, and how much did he do to move that forward?
He definitely helped move it forward, but I would say we were probably already on our way,
Mm-hmm.
at least as a coaching staff. Uh, Spo was a big, big believer in diving deeper into the numbers uh, and just really getting under the layers of the first thing you see. And so we were already on our way, but what I thought Shane took it to another level for us was in the day-to-day preparation for each opponent that we were facing, and being able to apply systematic ways to take advantage of what we learn day to day, right? So we're playing Kobe that night. Shane could go into the numbers in that game and say, okay, we're gonna have to ice him on the sides because he loves getting to this spot on the floor and da 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 da. Because we talk about it in shoot around. Spo obviously leaned on the veterans. Hey, what do you guys think on the sides over here? Should we cover it like this? Shane was like, look, Kobe wants to get to this spot. Let's push him the other way. Have the help sitting there. It's in our system. Boom, boom, boom. And it was just like, and everybody could, it was like, right now, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew what he was doing, and we knew we had to cover him when he was dealing with matchups like that. Uh, so that's where I think he really helped uh, the overall culture in Miami as a player from that standpoint analytically. We obviously gave him numbers on guys, but we just didn't force feed it down their throat.
Mm-hmm.
But he took it and made it something that they looked forward to getting, and that they actually didn't feel right if they didn't at least comb through and learn a little bit more about the opponent they was facing. But Spo would always present. Spo was very good at presenting uh, strengths and weaknesses of us and them through the numbers, and showing how we can attack them based on their statistics. And Spo's a video guy too, so we always said our whole mindset was the picture isn't complete until you put the film together with the numbers. Because you think you're seeing one thing and then it turns out that it's something totally different if you're just looking at one aspect of it. But when you put the whole thing together, you start to see it. And so that's where I thought Spo just really did. He taught me a lot about it that way. And I thought he did a great job with those guys of putting that together. And I think that connected with Shane, to a certain extent, that Spo cared enough and cared about it. Enough to put it into game planning.
Yeah, and I've always said, and I'm sure. Let me know if you agree, disagree, Coach. I think the best way of going about combining the two is like you're watching, and you see like a trend, a pattern, like, huh, he does this a lot, and then you go look, okay, that's true. The data says it's true, or oh, maybe I just looked at like a weird sample. So is that
I
usually
do
guys
both. I've
interact?
had it happen where one triggers the other.
Mm-hmm.
I've gotten a sheet of numbers showing me a team's rankings in every department, right? Off ball screens, what are they per 100 points per possession? And all of a sudden, something jumps off the page to me. And I go, man, let me go. All right, video guys, give me all of their gaggle actions on the weak side. And now I dive into their gag and I start to see, oh man, these guys are deadly at running this three-man action over here, before I ever got to the film. But the numbers told me to go there. And it works vice versa. I can be diving into the film and all of a sudden I start seeing these trends of something happening. And I'll tell my analytics guys, hey man, pull up, what are these guys in defending off ball screens or whatever it is. Like I see that they're giving up slips on the film. What are they in defense? Oh man, they're giving up, 1.2 points per possession off ball screens. God, we're gonna kill them with this. And just, but you learn one from one or the other. But I think when you want to have concrete, factual evidence to present to your team, you want to be able to bring both to the table together to complete the whole picture.
Hmm. Now, you mentioned, his relationship with a lot of the guys in the locker room. Was he kind of like, and he's on the record as saying that he's the one who put LeBron onto like defensive analytics and stuff like that. So it's not just me aggregating, but
I
was
watched
he?
it.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I seen them do it. I seen how they always used to tease him early, like,
Hmm.
man, what you over there reading, Shane? Like the Wall Street Journal or something, or you checking your stocks or something. Like, no, look, I got this cheat sheet. Look, this is what your guy gonna do tonight. And then all of a sudden, Brown was like seeking it out. Like, hey, what you got for me? Like, give me some more, feed me information. Because LeBron's an information junkie too.
Hmm.
And he could just Dwayne, these guys can take in information and process it really fast and then apply it to the game physically. And so yeah, Shane had a big part in all of those guys developing a understanding, a want, uh, a relying on analytics. He That's what I'm saying. There's something different about, and coaches, a lot of coaches will tell you this. It's like when you got to get on a player, it's something different about when you get on a player as opposed to when your teammate gets on you, a guy that you respect in a locker room. It's the same as it's different if a coach is sitting here trying to force feed numbers down your throat as opposed to this guy that gets it done on the court next to you who's really defending at a high clip saying, hey man, look, this is kind of how I get away with this stuff, you know. And now he's telling a guy who's like a super freak athlete, and now you putting that together. Shane's not a super freak athlete, but
Hmm.
he's stopping everybody. So guys like LeBron or Dwayne, like, man, if I can do that, if I can take that and apply it to my game, me being this, all world athlete, I can end up being a pretty dang good defender too. And that's where our defense really started to suffocate,
Hmm. He was
you
like
know.
the Bulls in the '90s, basically. You guys were
Ooh,
like Rodman. It's like Coach Jim Les told me one time. He's like, it was like unleashing the dogs, and that's basically what you guys were like at that point.
man, we could fly. Everybody was on a string. We knew what the next guy was doing. Our low man was as impressive as it gets. You can
Hmm.
go back to any team in NBA history. I'll put that team up against anybody when it comes to low man coming across the lane and making the right play, stopping the team or forcing them to do something they didn't want to do. It was a joy to coach. Spo did a heck of a job building that defense with those guys. And like I said, Shane was the filler. He was the guy that was filling in all of the blanks. The details, the intricate parts that could take your defense from, an eighth ranked defense to a second ranked defense. That was the kind of guy he was. And then you're talking about like-minded guys like a Chris Bosh, people who really saw it, like got it. Like as soon as Chris Bosh is a very analytical, the numbers make sense to him, and so he's very thoughtful, loves to read information. So it started. You saw guys that it connected to naturally, and when you get that kind of spread through your locker room, man, you got a chance to win. And Shane had a lot to do with that.
Hmm. That's all awesome. And so now, Coach, today, how many, like, is it every team pretty much now? They have a little bit. It's like the Joker. They have a little bit of Shane Battier in them.
Yeah, you have to now. It's just keeping up with the Joneses. Every team has a analytics department. Every team is looking for players who jump off the charts analytically. It's just it's a deep rooted part of the game now that I can't ever see us going back.
Hmm.
Uh, because it quantifies performance. If you can quantify performance and you can use it to strategize, build teams, win games, draft better, all of this develop better. Like it's just it's so necessary. And I just think every team now really gets that. And I was to the point. It was funny. I was just visiting some friends in DC with the Wizards, and
Mhm.
one of the young guys in their analytics department was with me in New York, Zane. And when I was in New York, Zane goes, "Man, this is the first time I ever got to sit in practice."
Mhm.
I'm like, "No, you have to be in practice because you need to help develop more analytics for me based on what you're seeing." So as you see our system being built out, I would meet with Shane and say, "Okay, I want to be able to chart certain things that aren't necessarily in stats. I wanted to know every time we got the ball in the scoring position within 4 seconds of the shot clock. I want to know how many times we slot cut, got the ball, and touched the paint, 2 feet in the paint, regardless, and
Mhm.
what happened." Like I was trying to find, but how could he really help me find this stuff if he didn't know what the heck I was talking about? So I was
Mhm.
trying to educate him on our system, terminology, different parts of our game that I thought was important. And so, making them almost a part of my coaching staff, intricate part of my coaching staff was something that was really important to me as a coach, and developing, bringing the factions together, because you have this world where there's analytics and then there's this, well, they didn't play,
Mhm.
right? And there's a lack of respect on both sides for both. And what they don't realize is they're stuck with each other and they need each other to paint a bigger, better picture of what's going on the court. And so the faster everyone understands that, and the guys that do understand that tend to utilize the information a lot better.